it just got very real as a shocking new report has dropped surrounding Erik Swanson and his future this season. This changes everything for the Jays as now their pursuit in free agency for another reliever has really started to escalate, and reports and rumors are starting to fly surrounding one particular player. We're going to break that down and discuss what it means going forward. But before we get into it, a quick reminder to hit that subscribe button. If you're a part of the percentage who aren't subscribed to the channel, this is the place to be for daily Jays content, and make sure to hit the subscribe button. Ladies and gentlemen, it just got very real as a brand new report is dropped from Arden's Dwelling, revealing some brutal information as it pertains to the Toronto Blue Jays bullpen in specific. And man, oh man, it's just a devastating blow to the team. But let's dive right into it here. You can see this. It dropped just minutes ago. Blue Jays Erik Swanson is meeting with doctor on Thursday, and it's not just any doctor. It is the doctor known for elbow injuries, known for the Tommy John, surgery replacement. And it is an absolutely devastating blow. Now, it just got real for not only the Blue Jays as it pertains to their bullpen and needing to get another arm, but it also got real for Erik Swanson, who now in back-to-back spring training stints has had absolutely brutal, we'll say, luck. And you can see this here. Erik Swanson, dealing with a forearm and elbow injury, will meet with Dr. Keith Meister in Texas on Thursday. Swanson had been slowed by forearm and elbow issues this spring. Blue Jays manager John Schneider referred to Swanson's arm issues as a little bit of a recurring theme, and the goal with Thursday's exam is to nail down exactly what's going on. More clarity on Swanson's situation is anticipated after Thursday's meeting, but the reliever is expected to begin the season on the IL regardless of what comes out of the exam. So, obviously not to jump the gun on anything, but we see a lot of pitchers who go to Dr. Keith Meister. I believe I'm pronouncing that right. If not, let me know down below. But whoever, usually when you're going to Keith, he says you have a serious elbow injury that reoccurs, which means usually the outcome there is Tommy John surgery. Now, I'm not saying that he is going to need Tommy John surgery. I really hope he isn't. But regardless, he is going to miss a significant amount of time. And the key thing here is from John Schneider. He said it is a recurring theme with the elbow injury. Now, regarding Erik Swanson, you think back to the start of last, spring training, and of course the thing that happened with his son, which was horrible, and he really wasn't able to bounce back until the second half of last year, where he was an elite reliever despite the numbers. And then this year coming in, we heard it from Keegan Matheson, we heard it from Ben Nicholson-Smith that Erik Swanson is healthy-ish. He's, he wasn't necessarily fully healthy, but he was looking good. He was ramping up, and he was going to be a crucial part of this bullpen. Well, that's unfortunately not going to be the case for at least the start of the season, and depending how this surgery goes, or depending how the meeting goes, if he'll need surgery, could change the outlook of the bullpen for a while now. And it just got real surrounding the Jays needing another bullpen arm. Now, we know things have come out about them specifically needing, not necessarily using some of the guys in AAA and some of the other guys competing in camp, but it is just a devastating blow. When you look at his stats, last season he put up a 5.03 ERA, but let's not forget there was a period there where he had like a 16 ERA and then a 9 ERA. In the second half of the season, it went down to like a 4, and then ultimately got it or kept it around a 5. Before the tail end of that season last year, and I know a lot of fans checked out of last season, if you watch the games, he was an elite reliever for the second half of, not the second half of the season necessarily, but towards the tail end of it. And that's why, age 31, still young, he was hoping to have a bounce back year this year and really be a key contributor out of the pen. Let's not forget now, in 2022, elite reliever. In 2023 with the Jays was one of the key reasons that they were even able to make it to the wild card series and make it to the playoffs. He was absolutely nails down the stretch. And for the Jays to be missing him for the start of the season is devastating. And depending how long they miss him for because of this injury, it is going to be a very, very interesting next few weeks, and hopefully over the next few days we get a positive outcome on Erik Swanson. But you never want to see anybody go to Dr. Keith Meister. And let's not forget, Garrett Cole is going to be getting, or is recommended, Tommy John surgery. So that's another thing. It's rampant around baseball, just the way that things are going. And for the Yankees, they're dealing with a ton of injuries, and now the Jays, really their first major blow of spring, which is a good thing in the sense of they haven't been dealing with a ton of injuries, but it's a bad thing, and it's one of the most important relievers they have. And you think back to a week ago when Arden's Dwelling first, and this tweet was from a week ago, where his injury was first revealed, and they say they're going to start the season on the IL. He said Erik Swanson's injury opens a roster pathway for one of several relievers who have been impressing the Blue Jays decision makers in camp. Among them, Zach Pop, Tommy Nance, Josh Walker, Richard Lovelady, Braden Fisher, and Kevin Gowdy. So as you look at some of the bullpen arms internally that they're looking at, Zach Pop, you'd assume, would be having the lead there, but we're going to dive into one player, and that is David Robertson. Now, you can see here, I covered this in a video a few days ago. Everyone is saying for the Jays to go sign David Robertson. And this is something that now makes all the more sense in the world. Because yes, you can add Eric Lauer to this, mix. He's kind of a longer relief guy, but he could be a starter as well down in AAA and even be a starter in the big leagues depending on what happens. But you look at the bullpen right now for the Jays, and it's pretty good But if you need a high upside arm, you need someone for leverage. And David Robertson can give you leverage. You can see this here, turned 40 shortly after opening day, but he's still delivering the goods and the holds, providing the Rangers with 34 of the latter this past season. He has been a hot potato lately, pitching for 5 teams over the past 3 seasons and quietly delivering a 3 ERA or lower to 4 of those 5. Given the still questionable overall state of their bullpen, it's surprising Texas hasn't re-signed him, and this article predicts a $7 million deal. Now, I'm not sure he's going to get that much simply because we're now deep into spring training and no other team has signed him. But David Robertson is a very good reliever, and he's coming off of a year with the Texas Rangers, 68 games, a 3 ERA. You need high upside at this juncture. And yes, you could, hope that you get that at a Zach Pop. You hope you get that at Tommy Nance, like a long relief guy starter. If you want someone with pop that can actually, no pun intended, that can actually help you in the bullpen to the degree that Erik Swanson would have, you need to go out and get David Robertson. And it just needs to happen. There's going to be more videos on it because at this point, it makes all the sense in the world. Add one more reliever with leverage potential. And he has been a guy who's been very good the past few seasons. Yes, he's going to be 40 years old heading into the season. They already signed one 40-year-old pitcher. May as well go for it twice with David Robertson. And we know the Jays are going all in this year. Once the trade deadline comes, they're going to be going all in, all these different things. But you have to, if you're the Toronto Blue Jays, mitigate this in some way because you cannot, if you go down with injuries this season, injuries are going to be the kryptonite of this team. If you have 1 or 2 starters get injured, you are quickly going to be in serious trouble because you don't have a lot of depth. Jake Bloss doesn't look ready at the MLB level. Yariel Rodriguez is struggling in the zone. He's probably better suited for a quick 1 or 2 inning hit, high hit role, right? So it's going to be very interesting. As you look at the bullpen here now, without Erik Swanson, you have Jeff Hoffman as a closer, is going to be elite. Chad Green, very good, setup guy, depending who is in the 7th or 8th inning between him and Jimmy Garcia. Nick Sandlin, John Schneider loves. They want to use him specifically against lefties because of his splitter. You have Brendan Little, the lefty, but other than that, Yariel Rodriguez, a long relief guy. You can throw Ryan Yarbrough in there instead of Tommy Nance. You need one more leverage player. Now, whether that comes in a trade could also happen. We'll have videos covering that simply because they have an excess of position players, especially if you're trying to open up a spot for Alan Roden. So it is going to be wild. You need to go out and sign a guy like David Robertson. It makes all the more sense now than it ever did. Starting rotation looks good. Your bullpen still looks very good, but you need one more piece. And there's a piece readily available. We saw last year, they traded Santiago Espinal late in spring. Hopefully we have the same outcome there because you have so many position players available, whether it's David Schneider, whether that's, a lot of guys who are depth. I'm not saying trade like Joey Loperfido yet, but there's a lot of guys that are available for depth that other teams could use. And if you want to open up a spot for Alan Roden, make a move. Make it for either a starting pitcher or a relief pitcher, but you don't even have to when it comes to David Robertson. He is a free agent. He is available, and the Jays need to be calling him on the phone desperately, calling his agent on the phone because, man, oh man, with this brutal injury update, things are going to pick up very, very soon. We're going to keep you up to date with all the latest news. The Jays do play today. Hopefully they can take care of business there. At the end of the day, it's spring training, so the results don't matter. But what does matter are these updates, and hopefully Erik Swanson won't need Tommy John. Hopefully he'll be good to go. And hopefully the Jays pick up the phone, and hopefully they sign David Robertson. That'll wrap it up. Let us know down below what your thoughts are. Cheers.